Join me at the San Diego Zoo, where I'll show you the animals, the entrance, and the iconic lion statue. But you're not just here for two animals. The whole zoo is a work of art, full of vegetation, artificial rivers, and first-class enclosures. They'll make you feel like you're really in the animal's natural habitat. And the best example is this, a cock of the rock, which can be found in one of the three large and beautiful aviaries at the San Diego Zoo. And here, I'll show you a close-up photo. And of course, the first thing you see are flamingos and also lots of ducks. And many shops, which I'll show you at the end, along with the prices. And my experience, let me tell you, was very positive, but for now, I'll show you more birds. Let's do this by groups. Reptiles are coming up next, don't worry, but here is one of my favorite birds, the capuchin bird, which you can't really see very well. You have to see it live, but there it is. There are the beautiful colors, and here is one of the main aviaries. If you look in the back, you'll see a group of metallic aplonis, which are sweet-voiced starlings, and here I'll leave you the audio so you can appreciate it. And look how they bring just a few. What you just heard was the great Argus, Argusianus argus, which always scared me, that son of a bitch, while I was just trying to record. To the archerfish, which are the ones that shoot water, they spit towards the branches to knock insects into the water and eat them. And of course, a pig-nosed turtle, which is one of my favorites and a privilege to see it in person. We move on to the primates, the hominids, which basically there are three species. I don't remember which one this was. However, we are seeing their great intelligence. A bird is putting me into what simulates a termite nest to get its food. And there we are seeing its offspring, which is coming down a rope. By the way, let's remember that zoos are great centers for conservation and reproduction. And right now we're going to talk a little more about this with the California condors. If you go to the San Diego Zoo, you can't miss the gorillas. I think it was one of my favorite enclosures because of their personalities. They spend their time by the glass, interacting with people, playing, and just look at that caboose. And since we're looking at a gorilla's backside, I wanted to tell you that the San Diego Zoo is the second largest in the United States. However, it's the most visited in the country. I'll also mention you can subscribe if you're enjoying the video. Thank you. Now I'll show you some other primate species. And I apologize, I didn't record all of them for you. I wanted to enjoy the trip. I'm sure you understand. Experiencing it live is the best thing you can do, and you're more than welcome. The entrance fee is $70. By the way, at the time I'm recording this, which is July 2023, I went about 15 years ago and it cost a lot less, but well, inflation and taking care of these animals isn't cheap. And by the way, this organization is non-profit. And as you may have noticed, did you realize? We've already moved from primates to reptiles, which I think is what there are the most of in this zoo. Here we're seeing monitor lizards, here we have turtles, snake-necked turtles, and many other things that will blow your mind. Right now we're looking at this snake. I honestly don't remember what species it is, but here we have Gila monsters and snakes, my rattlesnake. In a moment, we're going to have a shot that I loved. Here you can see its mouth and epiglottis, allowing it to breathe while swallowing prey. It's incredible and amazing that I captured this on camera. But here we have my favorite shot of the whole trip, Varanus persinus, the emerald monitor. While they were feeding them, we were lucky enough to be there as they opened, well, the enclosure's cage. And here we're watching how they give them their pinkies, they feed them with frozen mice, and well, it's just amazing to see this scene. Snakes, more monitors, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and sorry if you didn't like the previous shot. However, we have to remember that they don't have to adapt to us, we have to adapt to their needs. And that includes humidity, temperature, lighting, and of course diet. And while you just saw the beautiful Gaboon vipers, some skinks, and snakes, get ready because you're about to see the Komodo dragon, the largest lizard in the world, which has incredibly toxic saliva that causes deadly infections. And as you can see, the little guy is sleeping. But that's normal for almost all the animals you visit. They're usually asleep, so don't expect them to be doing tricks. If I had to see a pygmy hippopotamus's backside, so do you, so you'll be traumatized too. Here is the sleeping specimen. However, let's quickly move on to the jacanas, which have some of the widest feet, allowing them to walk on floating vegetation. Sorry about that thumb in the shot. And here we are at one of the most beautiful exhibits in the entire zoo. The arthropod area, cricket, soybean, mantissoy, grasshopper, horseface, beetles of all kinds of colors and sizes. And we also have educational areas for children so they can be aware. But even if you're not a kid, are you going to have a great time? And sorry for the bad language. But if you don't like the video, you can leave, but please don't go, because I make money from this. Here we have beehives and also ant colonies, which have live cameras so you can watch them up close. Here's a closer shot of the beehives with bees. and here are the ants. Right now, we're going to see the fifth largest in the world, the Colademono 5, which is found exclusively in the Solomon Islands. And like I said, there are many educational sections, lots of specimens, and every building is beautiful. Here we have one of my favorite animals, the Chinese giant salamander, the largest amphibian in the world. And in contrast, here we have the little axolotls, which are always a must. Next, we're going to see some random animals before talking a bit about the conservation efforts at this zoo. We have rats, moles, which are completely blind. We have the largest turtles in the world, the Galapagos. And here we have the klipspringers with the scientific name Oreotragus. And this one here is a beautiful serval from Africa. And now let's talk about these beautiful animals, the California condors, which 30 years ago, no more, there were only 22 individuals left in the wild. The zoo basically captured them, bred them, and has released more than 240 individuals to date, making the current population over 600 individuals. So remember to visit your nearest zoo, buy food, souvenirs, whatever it takes to support these conservation and species reintroduction projects. And as I said, the San Diego Zoo is completely non-profit. Everything goes to the animals, to the facilities, and of course to the veterinarians, biologists, and so on. And if you still think that zoos are places of animal cruelty, that they're just cages, remember to visit this zoo, which has some of the most beautiful enclosures I've ever seen. Seriously, when you go, it looks so real you might expect a monkey to jump out at you. Many of these animals were victims of illegal animal trafficking, were victims of circuses where they were really mistreated, or were simply left orphaned, like the polar bears, which sadly I didn't see, even though I visited them twice. And let's also remember that zoos are a pillar for conservation, reproduction, and reintroduction of animals. But changing the subject, here I am on the cable car, which is completely free with the purchase of your ticket, and here we're going to see some views. Sorry for recording it vertically, I forgot. And also with the purchase of your ticket, we also have the bus, the tour, which is completely free, you can take as many times as you want, and also the cable car. And from here we can see a lot of animals. Here's the polar bear enclosure, but they never showed up. Every time I went, they were always being fed. If you're going to get on the bus, sit on the right side. I sat on the left and couldn't see anything since everything was on the right. Honestly, it annoyed me, so sit on the right side. And while we're looking at animals, let me tell you that you can bring food into the zoo. You can take it in, you can bring your chips, you can bring your McDonald's, whatever you want. You can take it in. Just avoid using glass containers, flammable items, or aerosol cans. The food isn't expensive. You can eat well for $1.20 and it's reasonably priced. Similar to Disney and Six Flags, these places are pricey, so bring money or pack your own food. And of course, there are the stores, there's everything. As you can see, there are like 20,000 stores here, and you can even buy a tiger the size of a human. Sorry I didn't share all the fun facts you expected, but this was my experience and it was great. I highly recommend you go. And here we have the iconic koalas of San Diego, which are born the size of a pinky finger and eat poop when they're babies. That's how they get the enzymes they need to break down eucalyptus. Lastly, here's a beautiful video of the giraffes, which was one of my favorite enclosures, and you can even pay to feed them. I got there too late for that and couldn't pay, but the option is there if you want. And here's an amazing close-up, and that would be all. As I always say, remember to follow me and love nature. Thank you.